Haka.
Oh yes.
And the origin and the purpose.
Explain the eyes and the tongue rolling, because that's fascinating.
Okay, yes, what people... So the Haka is known as a postural war dance, but Haka can be performed by women. My grandfather used to say, if we break the word down, Ha, H-A, means breath. Ka means fire. So we talk about the ahika, the home fires burning, or the people that are back. So if you put the two words together, Haka is the breath of fire. My grandfather used to say the best people to do the Haka are women. If you're married and you give the eye, like you haven't done what I asked you to do. But my grandfather used to, in all seriousness, say it's childbirth. So if you've experienced it and you're meant to look wonderful like in the movies and you don't, and you have to find that inner strength to bring your baby into this world, you are calling on the breath of fire to push your baby. So when you see these guys, they could be perfectly just warming up, but then it looks like they get possessed. You'll see them looking possessed in there. And so what they do, I've got a guide that is a dancer like you, and she would explain it that we also came from the islands where it was breezy and tropical, and so all their hand movements are really soft, depicting their environment. You arrive in New Zealand and now you're having to stomp your feet and keep warm and find, and you're sort of moving around and things. You'll see them moving, and that's a different type of dance or different type of environment they were in. But what you'll see is they go from being quite thing to possessed, and that's your spiritual, physical, emotional alignment. And why men go to war and women don't tend to is because of the focus on the one thing. When you're giving birth, you don't care who's in the room. You're focused on from your stomach to get your baby into the world. The same with when they're doing the Haka. They're focusing only on what they're about to do. In days of old, it was to take the life of another or have your own life taken. So it's quite an important time that you're about to go into battle and someone was going to die. So they took it quite seriously, and that's why this thing comes over them. When you look at them, their eyes are rolling back. They're a bit possessed. It's because they're aligning all those physical, spiritual, emotional, everything's aligning to the one thing. And, there's a lot of yelling and slapping and stuff in that to get them there, but it's getting in the zone for those who've played sport before, getting prepared. And then what they're doing is they're going from the pit of your stomach. You're really it's likened again to anger. You can be angry, but you can be pit of the stomach angry or emotions. That's what's coming through. That's what you'll see on the sporting field, and we also have Haka that tell a story or an occasion, so those ones seem a bit more lighthearted. What Curtis is referring to is the protrusion of the tongue or the widening of the eyes, what we call the pukana, it's the whites of the eyes. It's like saying we want to scare, intimidate you. The protrusion is when you see kids out the back of the bus putting their tongue out at you, you know that they're just taunting you to drive into them, and it's again the same thing. Women don't do the protrusion of the tongue because it's also likened to the male genitalia. That they're protruding the tongue, it's sort of, it's getting them in the zone. I don't worry if tourists do it. You guys are getting in the thing, but you may not also understand. But now I've told you, women don't do the protrusion of the tongue. Highly offensive and just something we don't do. Yeah. Oh, the widdy. Yes. So when they're dancing, other than keeping warm, the widdy, you'll see us doing the trees, the oceans, all the songs will depict something, but it's life force. And it's the Mauri. We're Māori, but Mauri, M-A-U-R-I, is life force. So if you just quiver your hands, that's your heart. If it stops, like the quiver of your heart, life is gone.
Wow.
But what we like to talk about is there's a tree and it's going to become a carving. We're breathing life into that, and then it has a story and we're still giving it a life force. It becomes something else. So if I got an uncle that carves canoes, so he goes into the forest, and I've been with him, and he says, that looks like a good tree. It's now going to lose its life force as a tree, but he then makes it into a beautiful waka or canoe, and then he'll give it a story, and then everyone that goes in that will know about that, so it gets a life of its own. But that's what the quivering of the hands is depict like